godlike. It was the middle of the summer. The sort of weather that would make you feel as if it was about to ask for a summer vacation. And yet these days that seemed like a joke still hadn't ended. Good work, Julie. Haven't I told you to stop using my first name at work? Don't be so cold. We've known each other for a whole half a year now, haven't we? Can you believe that fake frankness? I wish he'd take a lesson from his grandpa. Yeah, he's way more fucking epic, dude. Jesus. This overly familiar man really did follow me around every day, even at work. Today was the first day and a half a year that Julie would go to interview Madame Jean. Come to think of it, it's now been a whole year since this long tale began. This also means it's been a half a year since this overly friendly man started following me around. And you still haven't fucked? Come on. Might as well use him for something. I'd ignore him thoroughly, which made him act a lot less intrusive. Though that wasn't enough to save me from being a topic of conversation for those rumor-loving older women. Well, he does get a little dejected now and then, possibly because I'm too cold, but if I do even a little thing I like buying him coffee, he's right back to normal again. He'll recommend those social network games. They're supposed to be popular, prattling on about how he'll get a rare item if he gets a friend to join. So would I be interested? And when I ignore him, he gets all dejected again. What are you, a puppy? Just fuck already. Apparently the dog-like part of him was all he'd inherited from Wayne. By the way, just so it's clear, there's no trace of romance going on here. Uh-huh. None. I'm not remotely interested in romance with this puppy. On top of that, since he's always intimidating all my hot co-workers, any hopes of budding office love get smashed to smithereens. Aha! Chen from accounting, who was pretty hot, and Ma, who had a rich family in Hong Kong, and everyone else stopped sending me emails. It's enough to make anyone sigh. Seem tired. Whose fault do you think that is? But I held in the words. This puppy is definitely planning to be needlessly courteous, trying to cheer me up by talking about all sorts of stuff. So I'll start the conversation. Probably to get my mind in Primavera mode before meeting Madame Jean. I heard you've been having trouble with your sub-organizations. Yeah, it's very embarrassing. During this half year, the situation surrounding Primavera had changed considerably. Primavera's largest faction, the Kansai Spring Breeze Association, had voiced its recommendation that Madame Jean and Consigliere Uedera retire. For health concerns to cultivate the next generation, various plausible reasons were offered. But, in short, it was the same as a declaration of war, announcing their desire to grab Primavera's top spot. They probably thought that someone who had called in a reporter to write her last testament couldn't be relied upon to reign over a bunch of villains. It's true that Madame Jean is very old. I think the conjuncture that she'll retire once she's told me everything is very convincing. However, Madame Jean hadn't publicly named a successor. It didn't take a close examination of the Sengoku period to know that an organization with no successor always falls into civil war when generations change. Like, she should be grooming a successor right now. If Madame Jean had inherited Madame Rose's desire to leave Primavera behind for the sake of her countrymen, it was hard to understand why she still hadn't named a successor. Welcome to the successor, Julie. Even us young members can't understand what the Madame is thinking. By refusing to name a successor, she was intentionally inviting a civil war. Some weekly publications wonder if that would be her goal. What if a person who rose to the top stained in blood, in true underworld style, was the most fitting successor? That's how they thought of it. It's not as peaceful as Kabuki, where you can inherit someone's name and become XX the Third. And it's not as though Madame Jean herself was named as a successor by Madame Rose. Really? That's how it was recorded historically. Madame Rose, who had shown her true selfish desires in the Soy Sauce War, brought tyrannical rule back to City 23. But It was then that Jean Amakawa stood up as a second Madame Rose and stole Rose's position. I doubt that. Madame Jean's current position was stolen by defeating Madame Rose. Because I know how it all ends, listening to Madame Rose's tale has been getting more and more painful. Look, she didn't steal it. 100%. Rose was like, here, you can take it, have fun. I'm a peace out. I'm done with this bullshit. You can deal with them. Still, that rumor about how she's planning to tell you about her life and leave it as a last testament, that's not too hard to swallow. I've been placed in a terrifyingly important role, haven't I? This is just my imagination, but I wonder if the Madame's planning to give you the right to choose her successor. Huh? If Madame Jean suddenly died tomorrow, then the person who'd understand the most about Primavera's origin and purpose would be you. Actually, it'd be Uedera, but whatever. Wait, I couldn't be... With enough feuds, Primavera would probably settle on a Warhawk boss eventually. But most people figure that enthusiastic Warhawks tend to be lacking in the brain department. True! There's quite a few greedy people out here, too. The Madame would never hand Primavera over to people like that. Yet, even if she gathered everyone together to choose a suitable successor, the bosses are all bound by one thing or another. So you think that the task would be fitting for someone like me, who has no ties with Primavera? Don't you think so? It's, crazy, huh? Tora smiled as though he was partially joking. However, this was what he felt. He, the grandson of the consigliere, and a person who was allowed to be near Madame Jean. If I'm supposed to fill such a vital role, I refuse. Maybe she's keeping it a secret because she doesn't want you to refuse. Oh, and Julie, please don't tell anyone I've been saying things like that. Will I fill such an important role? It's not impossible. That was the feeling I got. It was probably the best if I stopped thinking of myself as a third party, here only to listen. This long tale that extends from Primavera starting to the modern age has always been tied to me. Maybe I'm not here just to record a story and put it in paper. Maybe I'll have to. Maybe I'll have to understand it from the bottom of my heart as one of their future countrymen. This long wall around the Amakawa residence came into sight. If I think back to when I first came here a year ago, surely now I've renewed my determination. I'm a lot more tense than I was back then. So while I'll continue to gather materials as a reporter, I decided to change my outlook. I'm not a newspaper reporter for the Hong Kong Daily News. I'm one of their future countrymen, one of the ones they wanted to pass everything down to. Very glad to hear that, Julie. Madame Jean was very approving of my change of outlook. On the other hand, she was clearly denied my suspicions that she planned to give me the right to choose a successor. It's an interesting idea, but no. The decision of choosing a successor carries with it a very heavy burden. I'm not irresponsible, and I'd abandon that burden and force it on you. I'd imagine so. I'll take responsibility and choose a successor while I still live. There's no need to worry. It's true that I'm reaching my final years and still haven't named a successor, and there do seem to be some people who are growing anxious. However, that in itself makes this a good test case for reforming all of Primavera. In other words, you're doing this intentionally to uncover sources of discord. Who will swear their loyalty to the end? Who will win over whom? And who will rise and how? The trouble over the past years has been ideally suited for examining those issues. There was Madame Jean for you. So she had used the popular theory of her ailing health to observe the reactions of Primavera executives. She couldn't have stood at the top of the underworld without such resilience. However, it makes me very glad to hear that you'll listen for more than what you'll need to make your articles. Well then, how far have we gotten? 1949. We're in 48. After handing over a lot of money, Madame Rose survived the soy sauce war, though painfully. Yes, I remember. Partly because of the calculations in Sun Zilong, who wanted to eradicate the Council of Elders and gain influence, Primavera was allowed a painful victory. Sun Zilong and the young lord who had become the new leader of the GDS immediately struck a deal with Madame Rose. Then both sides confirmed that neither had anything to gain by further aggravating each other. However, that was only an assurance that war would stop. There was no happy reconciliation where both sides agreed to get along. After all, Primavera wasn't the only party to receive considerable damage. Storehouses in City 22 itself had been burned. The Chinese military ruling in that city lost faith in the GDS, which had been tasked with maintaining public order. Though it served its purpose as an excuse to eliminate the Council of Elders, the young lord was still forced to placate military officials at considerable expense. Also, though they had supposedly struck a bargain with Primavera to break up the Japanese labor union, some of their high-ranking members weren't satisfied. Those people thought the Japanese labor union was a one-sided enemy attack to place economic pressure on City 22, so destroying it was only natural. Breaking up the union only merely made up for Primavera starting it in the first place. Too bad. Therefore, or so many people thought, the burning of the storehouses still required some form of retribution or compensation to be paid. What? Fuck off. Us not killing you all is the retribution. On the other side, as far as Primavera was concerned, this was all because of an attack leveled by Wang of the GDS. Yeah. Like, if he hadn't attacked us with the soy sauce shit, we wouldn't have burned the storehouses. They had to show a sort of revenge by burning the storehouses, but they'd also lost far too much. They were particularly hurt by the fact that the city folk believed this whole feud had been Primavera's revenge against the GDS for getting in the way of their scheme to sell soy sauce at high prices. The loss of the warm support of the people made it seem as though the city's atmosphere transformed from autumn to winter. That change in temperature silently tormented the men of Primavera. Also, it was clear that Primavera had been forced to pay excessively in order to take a shot at the GDS. There were no signs that the hostility against the GDS was subsiding. And so, leading members in both sides had reason to be unsatisfied with the deal. That turned into resentment against the opposing side, and as well as resentment against their own leaders. Even Rose and the young lord certainly wouldn't be able to just toast to their friendship and plan to get along. So both sides had to declare this a temporary truce. Someone would be forced to pay for this incident someday, but that would be put on hold for the time being. That was how it was eventually seen. Time was what both Rose and the young lord wanted most. The GDS had a huge load of diplomacy The GDS had a huge load of diplomacy it needed the young lord to do, though he had only recently been installed as their leader. After all, Chinese society, with all its ties and honor, wasn't so simple that you'd be accepted by everyone just because you succeeded in a coup d'etat. On the other hand, Primavera had an urgent need to improve its fragile distribution footing. We really need to get supply chains going. Otherwise, something like the soy sauce war would occur again, and next time City 23 would really be put under the economic occupation from outside. The community of their countrymen in City 23 would have to undergo swift and drastic reform. Madame Rose and Sons along established a hotline so that they could each avoid clashes with the opposing side. But at the same time, they had to build up their military and economic strengths in preparations for the next clash. How amusing. It was just an early version of what world affairs would look like in later years. In other words, it was a Cold War. Yep, I was actually going to say that. Yeah, like going to war at this point would just ruin you, both of you. But you got to fucking build as if there is one. Because if you don't build, the other person could take you out. It's arms race. Then the era finally reached 1949, but this time in an economic sense and a military sense. The high wage plan had ended. The laborers returned to their old low wage. The city was wrapped in poverty again. The midsummer night's dream ended, and before anyone knew it, the rays of autumn sun and its too cold wind arrived. When the laborers spoke, all they did was grumble. They always did, no matter what. Fuck them. They complained about the ladies of the evening who seemed to be prospering and spent their days with cheap alcohol bought from carts. Wow. The more things changed, the more they stayed the exact fucking same. Or you could say he had gone back to 1947, the time, I guess you could. Leo arrived. But well, a drink livened up by complaints can be fun in its own way. Even in the depths of poverty, the people were impudent and resilient. I mean, literally, all they want to do is complain about women, so they're gonna find a way to do it. I don't dislike that rat-like resilience. I do. Whatever. 2 snipers. The night of City 23 was noisy in various ways. Though the higher-ups in Primavera and the GDS had struck up a Cold War-style deal, it wasn't like that for the lower levels. Both sides had built up resentment from the soy sauce wars, and it often made the downtown nights noisy from the fighting. The high levels of both sides willingly ignored anything except the gold and except the gun and the knife. And in other words, only killing was strictly forbidden. After all, if the higher-ups forbade all fights, lower-ranking members would have no outlet for this resentment. True. And so once more tonight, a scuffle had broken out between Japanese and Chinese drunks in a downtown area near Chinatown. What's wrong with you? Don't you try and look tough, Chinese bastard. Chinese. Oh god. This is the music of fighting. Hey, this is Primavera's turf. Go back home to GDS. Drunk underlings from Primavera and the GDS got into a fight. Passers-by watched and cheered as long as he didn't get sucked into it. Street fights in the nighttime. Street fights were nighttime entertainment. I knew it was going to be a fight. Oh, there's someone new. I clicked on someone new. I don't know who it was, but Rose still existed though. So. I think I hit someone new too. Nice. As soon as I caught wind of the fighting festival, underlings from both sides joined in one after another. Excited drunk customers who had nothing to do with Underworld started joining in on the brawl, and the street was thrown into chaos. This sort of chaos was short-lived, lasting only until the Americans' MPs dashed forward blowing whistles. Here, right here. Whoa, they're really going at it. Fighting back if someone takes a shot at you. But seriously, who jump into a fight they just happened to spot? Shut up, kid. You know what they used to say? Brawls and whatever, flowers of Edo. Better not miss out the festival. Woo! Give me a piece of this party. Oh, yeah. He's your little kid. Well, whatever. Guess I'd better step up, too. Already. At least I can replace Charles with Alan now. Whoever Alan is. Well, except I know he's American. Well, I assume he's American because... oh god. Oh, that was terrible. They gave me the biggest fucking safety on that one. That should not have been saved. Though, they should do that for like all of my shit. I keep hitting 10. But I can't... There's a girl right next to that 10. I don't know who it is, though. Did I really get 100%? Oh, what? Deer! A shrill whistle rang out, and an American MP squad had arrived. These guys would indiscriminately throw participants and spectators into jail, so the festival broke up in an instant. You know, when they said other people were joining in on the fight, I thought that was actually like an American MP joining in on the fight, whatever. Okay, you know what? I'm just fucking stupid. Never mind, they're just Japanese. The people dashed into nearby bars like excited kids running about after a sudden downpour. When this sort of thing happened, it wasn't at all rare for people who had been fighting to run into the same bar. Yeah. Because you won't rat on each other, because you were both fighting. The MPs, looking annoyed, came into the bar and glared around. The tables were filled with blank-faced men, sitting there as though they had no idea a fight had just broken out. At the worse-off tables, Japanese and Chinese men sat together, covered in lumps and bruises and pretending to clink glasses together with forced smiles. The MPs understood, however, the disturbance was over for now, so they refrained from further boorishness. You people are so transparent. Don't cause a disturbance again, got it? We're done here. Waste of time. With that parting remark, the MP squad left. When bar patrons heard the car leave, cheers and roaring laughter filled the room. The Japanese and Chinese, who had all acted all harmonious a second ago, started sticking out their tongues and threatening each other, letting off the remaining steam from the fight. If you're gonna start fighting again, take it outside. Got me a special free service for customers who start fighting or don't order none. When the bar owner threatened them with a shotgun, the men who had only come here to hide left, coughing. As the Chinese lent each other shoulders and left the store, they were showered with jeers telling them not to come back. Of course, the response in Chinese were almost certainly violent retorts. However, once the fighting festival ended, it was time to break up. No more fighting. That was the unwritten rule. That was a nice punch, Chinese. I've met you before, haven't I? Arm brawl's great. You're one crazy bastard. I won't forget this. I'll pay you back double this lump next time chance I get. Sure, looking forward to the next time we meet. I love brawling after all. And I love drinking after a fight even more. Can't have one without the other. Hey, barkeep, keep that scary thing down and get us some good drinks. Sheesh, you'll dash anywhere when you hear about a brawl, Alan. Alan the Brawler, it's worth 100 men having on your side. You were wonderful again today. Hey, Alan, let me kiss you. Oh, the fucking king. Hey, cut that out. It tickles. Okay, enough of that. Alan isn't into gaudy women like you. Yeah, he is. I know he's got eyes on a different girl. Doubt. What? Really? No way. Alan doesn't understand our charm. Just spend a night and you won't want to leave the next morning. No. So sorry. See you later. Cheers to Alan the Brawler. The men all raised their glasses at once. Alan responded and the bar returned to its usual hum. Who's the girl, Alan? I need to know if she's up to specs. Are you still chasing that woman's ass? I finally managed to get her name. She says she's called Yuki. Whoa. Now there's a girl who sends chills down my spine. I've fallen for her, man. She makes you foot the bill all the time, right? Why can't you realize she's using you as a wallet? Simp hours, hell yeah. Same, brother. That's fine. If I get a passionate kiss later, it's all worth it. Way too obvious that you're what you're really after, man. If I were a woman, I'd be creeped out. Why? You get free shit and he's actually pretty fucking hot, okay? Let's be real here. If you were a woman, I'd hold you and smother you with kisses. Please don't say crap people misunderstand. Well, anyway, let's celebrate our continuing friendship. Yeah, we'll always be invincible. The two clinked their glasses together. The light sound made their cherry faces shine even more. Oh, don't look like the looks of those customers. Huh? Who's here? In this bar packed with drunk patrons, it was hard to tell the identity of everyone who came in. However, it seemed that Keith had already figured out who had come and why. I didn't even realize he had a name. And why he shrugged his shoulders. We've been looking for you, Alan, Keith. Hey, it's our colleagues. If you were just about to have a drink, why don't you join us? Of course they won't. It's about work, right? Probably Maurice says it's extremely urgent. See, I was right not to start drinking. A job so urgent you couldn't do it after drinking. Well, damn. I like noisy jobs, but I can't really stand those nice, quiet ones. I hate quiet jobs too. Need something with a bit more flash. Hey, if you don't mind, try and hurry up. The boss said to bring you in half an hour. The two let themselves be persuaded and rose from their seats. The look of these young people excited by a fighting festival had gone from their eyes. They had the strong emotionless glint of wolves who lived in the criminal underworld. Their boss was Maurice Monabe. Oh wow, never heard of him. Who? He was the leader of a battalion. The fighting group possessing several of the fiercest veterans, even compared to the rest of the Primavera. Alan and Keith, they were both members of the Primavera family and battalion. So, how good are they? Think we can rely on them? Now, there's something I can guarantee myself, and there aren't many people who get this good a recommendation from Maurice. Hey, boss, sorry to keep you waiting. We brought Alan and Keith. Nice, good work. Sorry to call you two out on such short notice. If you got a reason to hurry, there's no helping it. Still, you called us when we were about to have a drink. Isn't that a bit cruel even for you, boss? I know. Sorry about that. I'll buy you drinks later, so cheer up. Jesus. You're telling me these kids are the men for the job? We've been waiting for you two. Come on over here. So even the Grand Boss is here. And an officer of the American military. You'd better treat us to one hell of a drink. This is the first time we've met, but we're always in your debt. Sorry, but this is urgent. We want you to listen to the captain. Captain, these are our best men. Japanese really do have young faces. Those two have military record at least, right? Well, we've done our bit for our country. These guys are back from Siberia. Only got repatriated last year, but they're insanely talented. Oh, so ninja snipers from the Japanese military. Sounds fun. Keith is from the northeast, a descendant of the Matagi tribe. That means nothing. The Matagi? They're a group of hunters who have existed since Japan's ancient times. They seclude themselves in the mountains and take down their prey. Sounds great. So Japanese hunters. Many of the snipers around the world who had excellent records during World War II had one thing in common. That common factor was that they had been hunters before being enlisted. You look so weird. They learned how to use sniper rifles in their daily lives and also how to hide their breathing in the harsh wild so that even wild animals wouldn't notice them. People like that left many legends as proficient snipers in places all over the world.